Liam sat in the town plaza, his body covered in grime. His legs were contorted awkwardly in the old wheelchair, his garments torn, and his hair tangled with dirt. He bore no resemblance to the tycoon's heir he once was. Surrounding him, young girls from the village passed by, pointing, sneering, and laughing. "Look at him, begging for coins. Does he believe anyone would desire someone like him?" one girl taunted, her laughter reverberating through the air. Liam lowered his gaze, the sting of their remarks piercing his spirit. He clenched his fists, not out of genuine helplessness, but because his heart ached. These girls had no clue of his true identity. His father was among the most affluent men in the region. They were unaware that beneath the ragged clothes and fragile legs, Liam was actually strong, powerful, and wealthy. Yet, this was the existence he had chosen, pretending to be disabled, all to seek something money could never purchase, true love. Before departing home, his father had implored him, "Liam, you don't need to do this. You can have anything you desire. Why pretend to be someone you're not?" However, Liam remained unmoved by his father's pleas. He had grown up in opulence, surrounded by individuals who loved him solely for his wealth. They admired his striking appearance, his charisma, and his life of privilege. Deep down, though, he yearned for something genuine. He longed to experience being loved for his true self, not for his family's fortune. "I need to do this, Father," Liam had declared with resolve. "If I can't find someone who loves me as a humble, disabled man, then they can't love me as Liam, your son." His mother's eyes welled with tears, but she understood that once Liam had made his decision, there was no turning back. That morning, Liam left the comfort of his father's vast residence. The manor stood grandly on a hill overlooking the town, a testament to the family's immense wealth. But Liam abandoned it all, his cars, his designer attire, his luxurious lifestyle. He packed a small bag with worn-out clothes and an old wheelchair, the only items he would take with him. As he rolled away from the gates of his father's mansion, he glanced back one final time. His heart felt heavy, but his mind was set. He sought love, not pity. He desired someone who would look beyond the wheelchair and see him for who he truly was. The marketplace thrived with activity, but for Liam, it was a realm filled with challenges. He sat in a corner day after day, with only a small tin before him. The sound of coins clinking was infrequent, and more often than not, people passed by without a second glance. To them, he was just another beggar. The girls who once admired his handsome visage now didn't even acknowledge him. They mocked his appearance, their harsh words cutting deep, but Liam remained silent, reminding himself of his purpose. As days turned into weeks, the burden of loneliness grew heavier. His hands ached from maneuvering the wheelchair through the rough streets, his body sore, and his heart even more so. It seemed no one in the village could see beyond his disabled form. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Liam sat quietly, lost in his thoughts. He began to doubt his decision, perhaps he had made a grave mistake. Maybe no one would ever love him for who he truly was, and he would be ridiculed forever. But then, a shadow loomed over him. "Are you all right?" a gentle voice inquired. Liam looked up to see a girl standing before him. Unlike the others, she didn't mock him. Her face was kind, her eyes filled with genuine concern. She knelt beside him, offering some food wrapped in cloth. "I thought you might be hungry." Liam was stunned, no one had ever shown him such kindness since he embarked on this journey. He accepted the food with trembling hands, unsure of what to say. "What's your name?" she asked, sitting beside him as if he were no different from anyone else. "Liam," he replied softly. She smiled. "I'm Mia." And just like that, his world began to shift. Over the following days, Mia continued to visit Liam at the marketplace. She brought him food, sat with him, and engaged in conversation as if they were old friends. She never once inquired about his wheelchair or pitied him for his condition. To Mia, Liam was simply a man, not a disabled beggar. However, the villagers took notice of Mia's kindness and weren't pleased. They started mocking her too. "You're wasting your time on him," they jeered. "Why would you care for a man who can't even walk?" But Mia remained unfazed. She ignored their remarks and each day showed more compassion. For the first time in his life, Liam felt truly seen, not for his family's wealth, but for who he was. Mia's kindness blossomed into something deeper. She recognized Liam's strength, his resilience, and the way he cared for others despite his own struggles. She admired him, and over time, her admiration turned into love. Liam, too, found himself falling for her. Mia's beauty wasn't just external, her heart was pure, and her love was genuine. However, Liam was conflicted. Should he reveal the truth about his identity? Would she still love him if she discovered he wasn't truly disabled and that he was the heir to a billionaire's fortune? The weight of his secret grew heavier each day. One day, as Liam sat in his usual spot, he had grown accustomed to the curious glances, whispers, and cruel laughter. But now that Mia had entered his life, their mockery stung even more. "Look at her," one woman sneered as she passed by. "Spending her time with a disabled beggar. What a waste." Another girl shouted from across the street, laughing, "Maybe he'll take you on a grand honeymoon in his broken wheelchair." Liam's fists tightened with anger, but he remained silent. Mia walked past them, her head held high, but Liam could see the sadness in her eyes. It pained him deeply to witness her being treated this way because of him. He wanted to shout and declare that he wasn't who they thought he was, but he stayed silent. In the days that followed, the mockery intensified whenever Mia came to sit with Liam. The villagers jeered at her, calling her foolish and pitying her for falling for someone like Liam. Liam saw the toll it was taking on her, but Mia never once complained. One evening, unable to contain his frustration any longer, Liam spoke up as they sat together with the sun setting behind them. "Mia, why do you keep coming here? They treat you so badly because of me. You don't have to suffer like this." Mia looked at him, surprised by his words. "Liam, I come here because I care about you. It doesn't matter what they say. They don't know you like I do." "But it's not fair," Liam protested. "You deserve better than this, better than me." Mia shook her head. "I don't care about what they think. All that matters is how we treat each other. You're a kind man, Liam, and that's all that matters to me." Her words touched him deeply. For the first time, Liam realized that Mia wasn't just kind, she was strong, stronger than he had imagined. She stood up for what she believed in, even if it meant enduring the harsh words of others. Liam began to see that maybe, just maybe, she was the one. Still uncertain if he should reveal the truth, Liam decided to test Mia's love further by allowing himself to experience more suffering. He refused any help from her beyond the food she brought, making a show of struggling on his own. He wanted to see if her love would endure even through hardship. But Mia never faltered. Every day, she continued to visit him, offering her time and care without asking for anything in return. The villagers' laughter persisted, but Mia remained unfazed. Liam watched her closely, his heart filled with admiration for her quiet resilience. However, there were moments when Liam's resolve nearly broke. One day, as he sat alone in the marketplace, a group of young men gathered around him, taunting him cruelly. They pushed his wheelchair, making him spin helplessly, laughing and kicking dirt at him as they treated him like nothing. "Get out of here," one of them yelled. "You're dirtying the place with your pathetic begging." Liam's heart pounded, his anger boiling. He could easily stand up and fight back to reveal his true identity, but he bit his tongue, gripping the arms of his wheelchair as he endured their abuse. It was one of the hardest moments he had faced since leaving his father's home. As tears of frustration and humiliation welled up in his eyes, he heard Mia's voice. "Leave him alone." Mia rushed over, standing between Liam and the group of men. Her face was flushed with anger, her hands trembling. "How can you treat someone like this? You should be ashamed of yourselves. The men hesitated, clearly caught off guard by her sudden outburst, but they quickly shrugged it off, laughing as they walked away, muttering insults under their breath. Mia turned to Liam, her eyes filled with concern. She knelt beside him, gently touching his arm. Are you okay? Liam swallowed hard, his heart aching. He didn't deserve her kindness. He wanted to tell her everything right then and there, but the words still wouldn't come. He needed to be sure, to see if her love would truly stand the test of time. As days passed, rumors about Liam and Mia spread like wildfire through the village. People whispered about Mia's foolishness, questioning why a beautiful girl like her would waste her time on a disabled beggar. They laughed behind her back, mocking her for falling in love with someone they deemed worthless. But Mia never wavered. She continued to visit Liam, treating him with the same kindness and love, even as the villagers' whispers grew louder. Liam, on the other hand, felt the weight of guilt growing heavier each day. He could see how deeply Mia cared for him, how her love for him had blossomed. Yet, he still couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth. The longer he kept his secret, the more he feared what would happen when she discovered it. Would she be angry? Would she feel betrayed, or would she love him just the same? Liam knew he couldn't maintain the facade forever. He had to make a decision, either reveal the truth or continue to test Mia's love. But before he could decide, fate intervened. One day, as Liam sat in the marketplace, a terrible storm rolled in. The sky darkened, and rain began to pour down in sheets. People scrambled for cover, but Liam couldn't move quickly enough in his wheelchair. Within minutes, he was drenched, his clothes soaked through. Just as he was about to lose hope, Mia appeared. She ran through the rain, her clothes clinging to her, and rushed to Liam's side. Come with me, she shouted over the storm's roar. Without hesitation, she grabbed the handles of his wheelchair and began to push him through the muddy streets. Liam was speechless, overwhelmed by her determination. Despite the pouring rain and the difficulty of maneuvering him through the mud, Mia didn't stop. She pushed him all the way to her small home on the village's edge. Upon reaching her doorstep, Mia was out of breath, her hands trembling from the effort. She opened the door and wheeled Liam inside. You'll catch a cold, she said, grabbing a blanket and wrapping it around him. Stay here with me until the storm passes. Liam looked at her, his heart pounding. This was it, he had seen enough. Mia's love was real, her kindness unwavering. It was time to tell her the truth. Liam sat silently in Mia's humble home, watching her move about the room, trying to make him comfortable. His clothes were still damp, but the warmth from the blanket she had wrapped around him was comforting. His heart raced as he contemplated revealing everything. Mia returned from another room, carrying a cup of hot tea. This should help warm you up, she said with a gentle smile. Liam took the cup, his hands trembling. How could he explain this elaborate lie to someone so pure and kind? What would she think of him once she knew the truth? Liam, he began, his voice shaking. She looked at him, her eyes curious but patient, filled with the love that wasn't based on wealth or status but on who he was. Is everything all right? She asked, noticing the tension in his voice. Liam felt a lump in his throat. There's something I need to tell you. Something important. Mia tilted her head slightly, waiting. Liam's heart pounded as the words teetered on the edge of his lips, but just as he was about to speak, a loud knock echoed through the small home. Startled, Mia quickly stood up and went to answer the door. The moment was lost. At the doorway stood a group of women from the village, their faces full of curiosity and judgment. One of them, Zara, the loudest of the bunch, sneered as she glanced past Mia and saw Liam sitting inside. Mia, what are you doing hiding a beggar in your home? Zara asked, her voice dripping with disdain. He's not a beggar, Mia replied firmly, but Liam could hear the frustration in her voice. The women exchanged glances, clearly unconvinced. You're too soft-hearted, Mia. Can't you see he's just taking advantage of you? He'll never be able to take care of you. You're wasting your time. Mia's jaw tightened as she stood her ground. It's none of your business who I care for. Leave us alone. Zara scoffed. You'll regret this. With that, the women turned and left, their laughter echoing down the muddy street. Mia closed the door and leaned against it, taking a deep breath. Liam could see the pain in her eyes, the weight of the village's cruelty pressing down on her. Liam, she said softly, her heart aching for him. She shook her head, blinking away the tears that threatened to fall. It doesn't matter what they say. They don't know you like I do. But Liam knew that wasn't entirely true, they didn't know him at all. He couldn't let this continue. That night, as Mia prepared a simple dinner, Liam couldn't stop thinking about the villagers' hurtful words. He had never anticipated how difficult this journey would be, not just for him but for Mia as well. He had put her in a challenging position without fully realizing the consequences of his actions. As they sat down to eat, Liam spoke up again. Mia, I don't want you to suffer because of me. You don't deserve this. Mia looked at him with concern. What do you mean? I mean, maybe it's better if I leave, Liam said, his voice heavy with guilt. I don't want you to be mistreated because of me. You deserve someone who can take care of you, someone who isn't, he hesitated. Disabled. Mia frowned and shook her head. Liam, stop saying that. I don't care about any of that. I care about you, the person you are. Why are you talking like this? Liam's heart sank. He desperately wanted to tell her the truth, to let her know that she wasn't loving a disabled beggar but the son of one of the wealthiest families in the region. But he couldn't do it yet, not when things were still so uncertain. I just don't want to hurt you, he whispered, his voice barely audible. Mia reached across the table and took his hand in hers. You won't. We're in this together, Liam. Don't you see that? Her words comforted him, but they also deepened his guilt. He had to make a decision soon. The next day, as Liam sat outside Mia's house, lost in thought, the same group of men from the marketplace appeared again. They swaggered over, grinning maliciously. Well, look who's here again, one of them said, kicking a small stone towards Liam. Still pretending to be a man. Liam clenched his fist but remained silent, unwilling to draw more attention to himself. What's wrong? Can't stand up and fight anymore, another taunted, stepping closer and tipping Liam's wheelchair slightly to the side, making him lose balance for a moment. Just then, Mia appeared at the doorway, her face filled with fury. Leave him alone, she shouted, stepping between Liam and the men. They laughed, clearly entertained by the situation. Oh, look, his little girlfriend is here to save him again. How sweet. Mia's eyes burned with anger. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Why do you torment someone who's done nothing to you? Because it's fun. One of them sneered, crossing his arms. Besides, he doesn't belong here. Nothing, Liam could feel the humiliation rising inside him, but he didn't move. He couldn't speak without revealing himself. Just go, Mia said coldly, refusing to back down. The men shrugged and walked away, laughing as they left. Mia turned back to Liam, her expression softening. She knelt beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Are you all right? Liam nodded, but inside, he was torn apart. He couldn't bear watching her fight for him, suffering because of him. It was time to end the lie. That evening, as they sat quietly in Mia's small home, the storm that had been brewing inside Liam finally broke. He couldn't carry the weight of his deception any longer. Mia, he began, his voice thick with emotion. She looked up from the basket of food she was sorting, sensing the seriousness in his tone. What is it? Liam took a deep breath, his heart pounding as he prepared himself for her reaction. I haven't been honest with you about who I really am. Mia frowned in confusion. What do you mean? I'm not. I'm not the man you think I am, Liam said, his voice shaking. I'm not. I'm not poor. In fact, he took another deep breath, the truth finally spilling out, I'm the son of a billionaire. Mia's eyes widened in shock, the realization washing over her. She opened her mouth to say something, but no words came out. Liam's hands trembled as he continued, I left my father's home to find someone who would love me for who I am, not for my money. That's why I pretended to be a disabled beggar. I wanted to see if someone could love me without knowing I was rich. Mia stared at him, her expression unreadable. I'm so sorry I lied to you, Liam said, his voice breaking. I never meant to hurt you. I needed to be sure. For a long moment, Mia said nothing. The silence stretched between them, heavy and unbearable. Liam felt his heart sink, terrified of what she would say next. Finally, Mia spoke, her voice soft but steady. So everything has been a lie? Liam shook his head quickly. No, not everything. My feelings for you are real. Mia took a deep breath. That's the only thing that's true. I care about you more than anything. Mia lowered her eyes, processing everything she had just heard. Liam could see the hurt in her face, and it crushed him. He had never meant to cause her pain after everything they had been through. After what felt like an eternity, Mia looked up at him again, her eyes filled with a mix of emotions. You should have told me sooner. Liam whispered, I know. I should have. I was scared, Liam continued, guilt consuming him. I should have. I was scared that you wouldn't love me anymore if you knew the truth. Mia sighed, her expression softening slightly. Liam, I don't care about your money. I never did. What matters to me is the person you are inside. Liam's heart swelled with hope. So, does that mean? Mia gave him a small, sad smile. I need time to think. Liam nodded, understanding her need for space. The truth was out now, and all he could do was wait and see if the love they had built could survive this storm. The days that followed were agonizing for Liam. Mia kept her distance, and though she wasn't angry, there was a quietness between them that spoke volumes. She wasn't cold or unkind, but she needed time to process everything. Liam respected that, but it didn't stop the guilt from gnawing at him. Every night, as he lay on the small mat Mia had given him to sleep on, he wondered if he had ruined everything. Had he finally found someone who loved him for who he truly was, or not? And now, because of his lie, he might lose her. The irony wasn't lost on him. He had endured so much suffering and mockery to find real love, and now it seemed it might slip through his fingers. Liam thought of the life he had left behind, the luxury, the sprawling estate, and his parents' warnings. He had believed that love would conquer all, that if he found someone like Mia, everything would fall into place. But now, uncertainty loomed over him like a dark cloud.